It has finally happened. Donald Trump has gone live and publicly exposed Keir Starmer before the entire world. What he revealed was not merely a political embarrassment. It was a full-scale international scandal that has already sent shockwaves through London, Washington, and beyond. The so-called special relationship now hangs by a thread, and the turmoil unfolding behind closed doors is unlike anything Britain has faced in decades. If Starmer's previous humiliation seemed severe, this latest revelation could utterly destroy his credibility. Moments ago, during a live press event at the White House, Donald Trump directly named and criticized UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, accusing him of corruption, deceit, and betrayal of America's trust. The tone was explosive. Trump brandished what he claimed were classified documents detailing Starmer's secret, communications with senior officials in the European Union, and even Beijing, communications allegedly intended to undermine Trump's trade policies before his return to office. Trump's exact words were, "Starmer thought he could play both sides." Well, now everyone sees the truth. Within moments, media outlets across the globe erupted. In Britain, Downing Street reportedly went into panic mode. Senior advisors were seen rushing in and out of number 10, faces pale, phones pressed to their ears. It's evident that something serious has been exposed, and the response from Starmer's government has been nothing short of chaotic. But this was no spontaneous outburst. According to multiple insiders, Trump's team had been preparing this confrontation for weeks. They had compiled alleged evidence, including emails, financial links, and diplomatic memos, suggesting that Starmer's administration had been quietly coordinating with EU officials to obstruct American trade reforms. Trump described it as a direct act of economic sabotage against the United States, and this is where matters could turn extremely dangerous for Britain. If Trump follows through on his threats of sanctions and tariffs, the UK economy could face a severe blow almost instantly. Analysts are already warning that such measures could trigger a market collapse, send the pound plummeting, and drive inflation sharply upwards. British exporters, and particularly in the manufacturing, automotive, and aerospace sectors, are expected to be hit first and hardest. Trump made it unmistakably clear that he intends to teach Starmer a lesson. Inside Westminster, the atmosphere is one of sheer panic. Reports indicate that senior labor officials are pleading with allies in Washington to calm Trump privately, but it appears to be too late. Trump has gone public, and once he identifies an opponent, he rarely backs down. What makes matters worse for Starmer is that this scandal is unfolding live, in real time. Social media platforms erupted within minutes of Trump's remarks. Hashtags such as #Starmer Exposed and #Trump Files began trending globally, amassing millions of views. Elon Musk even joined the debate, stating that Britain deserves the truth, and vowing to release further evidence through his own platforms. For Starmer, this has become a political nightmare with no off switch. The key question now is what exactly Trump has uncovered. Sources close to the White House are suggesting the existence of financial documents linking Starmer's government to international lobbying groups accused of trying to weaken America's trade position. If verified, this would not merely be a political scandal. It would amount to an international betrayal capable of inflicting lasting damage on Britain's credibility with its strongest ally. Inside Parliament, whispers of leadership challenges are already resurfacing. Some Labour MPs reportedly believe that unless Starmer resigns soon, the UK could lose its remaining diplomatic influence with Washington. And as Trump himself declared during the broadcast, "When you lie to America, there's always a price to pay." What comes next could be even more severe. Reports suggest Trump's administration is preparing to suspend several trade negotiations and revoke special agreements with the UK that had been established to safeguard British exports. This could soon impact ordinary citizens directly, through rising prices, job losses, and widespread economic uncertainty. Behind the scenes, diplomats are scrambling to limit the fallout, but privately, many now concede it may already be too late. Trump has declared political war on Starmer, and this time, the battlefield is not just diplomatic, but economic, personal, and global. And this is only the beginning. The chaos is spreading rapidly, and the coming hours could determine not only Starmer's future, but also Britain's standing on the world stage. Stay tuned. The fallout from Trump's live exposé is only just beginning to unfold. As the dust from Trump's explosive disclosure starts to settle, the aftershocks are rippling through every level of the British establishment. Overnight, Downing Street has become a fortress of confusion and fear. Security around number 10 has been tightened, not due to any physical threat, but because of the political siege now engulfing the Prime Minister. Once confident in his handling of international diplomacy, Starmer now appears cornered. His formerly loyal aides are quietly discussing resignation timelines, emergency cabinet reshuffles, and damage control strategies that sound increasingly desperate. Every call reaching the Foreign Office comes from anxious ambassadors demanding answers. Washington remains silent. Brussels is cautious. And Beijing, interestingly, is staying quiet, observing the crisis unfold with what analysts describe as strategic amusement. Britain's credibility on the global stage is disintegrating, and the man at the center of it all looks increasingly isolated. The British press has gone into overdrive. Front pages scream with headlines such as "Starmer betrayal bombshell" and "Trump drops the files." Television. Pundits, many who once dismissed Trump's claims as mere bluster, are now being forced to confront the reality that something monumental has shifted in global politics. What makes this even more damaging for Starmer is how swiftly the narrative has turned against him. Only hours ago, he was still claiming that relations with the United States were strong and stable. Now, journalists are openly ridiculing that phrase, calling it the biggest falsehood in Westminster. Reports indicate that even Labour's most senior figures, those who have defended Starmer for years, are beginning to distance themselves. Whispered conversations inside Parliament suggest that some ministers are already positioning themselves for a possible leadership challenge. The question haunting Westminster tonight is no longer if Starmer will fall, but when. Meanwhile, Trump shows no sign of slowing down. Within hours of the live exposé, he posted on his Truth Social account, promising to release further damaging information about what he described as Starmer's secret deals. His post read like a declaration of political war, accusing Starmer of compromising Britain's sovereignty to appease globalists and betraying American friendship for the sake of EU approval. The message went viral, accumulating millions of shares within minutes, boosted by Trump's vast online following. Across the Atlantic, American media are treating the revelations as a breaking scandal with global repercussions. Fox News has already dubbed it the British betrayal, while even centrist U.S. outlets are framing it as a potential turning point in transatlantic relations. The White House press corps has been in overdrive, with reporters pressing Trump's aides for evidence. So far, none have denied the authenticity of the claims, and that silence speaks volumes. For the British economy, the impact is immediate. Financial markets opened sharply lower, with the pound tumbling to its lowest level in years. Investors are offloading UK assets amid fears of a full-scale trade confrontation with Washington. Major manufacturers, already struggling with inflation and energy costs, are warning of possible layoffs. The Confederation of British Industry issued a midnight statement calling for urgent diplomatic action to stabilize relations with the United States, but such engagement may no longer be possible. Sources close to the Trump administration claim the president has instructed his team to suspend all contact with Downing Street until further notice. This is not merely a diplomatic freeze. It is political isolation. Britain's voice on the world stage has gone silent, and other global leaders are already adjusting to the new reality. Australia is reportedly pursuing direct trade negotiations with Washington to capitalize on opportunities Britain may soon lose. Canada is quietly expanding its exports to American markets previously dominated by the UK. The message from Washington is clear: Britain has been sidelined. Inside Labour's headquarters, panic has given way to quiet rebellion. Party insiders are leaking information to the press in an attempt to distance themselves from the escalating scandal. Some allege that Starmer ignored repeated warnings not to antagonize Trump ahead of his re-election. Others are furious that his administration underestimated the political fallout from their public criticism. One insider reportedly said, "I thought Trump would never return. Now he's destroying everything we've built." These internal fractures are tearing the party apart. Meanwhile, Tory opposition figures are watching with satisfaction, calling for an emergency vote of no confidence. Nigel Farage, openly praised by Trump, appeared on live television, declaring, "This is the moment Britain takes back control from Starmer and the globalist elite." His remarks have resonated with voters frustrated by what they see as betrayal by the political establishment. Social.